I would tell a young me to allow my priorities to reveal my actions. That's what I would tell a younger me. Like, if something is truly a priority to me, then my actions should really depict it. And whatever I covet, I should seek. And whatever I seek, I should go accomplish.
Hey yo, G Dash, boy, take your hat off. Fine. This week on Hats Off with G Dash Jones. Woo! Y'all know what you're watching. Hey, hold up. I'm gonna let it come in. Just to get it. One more time. I said. Yeah, y'all hear it. What? Woo! Skirt! Talk about it. Woo! You watching Hats Off with your boy G Dash Jones. Oh man, that was the theme music for today. I'm talking Low Cut Geno, Earl Witt, K Hawk, That's called Hold On off Low Cut Geno's latest album, FMLA. If y'all know what that stands for, well, listen to the album. Go and stream that thing. Shouts out to Low Cut Geno. The vibes is vibing. Shouts out to him again. That was Hold On by Low Cut Geno. This is Hats Off with your boy G Dash Jones. Today's episode. Woo! When I tell you, we got a visionary out here. Okay? Lives of folks. Right? He's an educator. Okay. Kidney survivor. That's right. Okay. I ain't even get to the bars yet because the boy got bars. Say what? The boy got bars. You see him anytime he go on screen like that. He just looked like he just wrote a fresh 16 and produced a hot beat. That's a fact. Co-founder of the VBS label. What? Y'all don't know about that VBS? We gonna talk about it because the VBS Fest is coming up. That's a fact. We talking about all the vibes. Shouts out to him. And he's an educator, help getting the kids together, getting the youth, okay, together. He goes by the name of p.dot, a.k.a. Phil Davis. What's good brother? How you?
Dash, man. Love, bro. Appreciate you for having me this evening.
Man, listen, it's been a long time coming.
For sure.
You let me know a while ago. You said, listen now, okay. I had Grand G on this screen, and you was like, hold on. Got my OG up here. I'm going to need that work. Okay. You told me I'm going to need that work. Where's coming? I remember when you said it. You might have forgot. I remember when you said it.
I ain't forget. I remember
that. So now we got you up here, Ray. Talk that talk. I know that's right. Well, listen, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
So, I'm a Wilmington, Delaware native, born and raised. Was fortunate enough to go to Howard High School of Technology and then go to Delaware State University before attending the University of Baltimore School of Law and Public Policy School. So it was, great times in college, met a lot of great people, and then kind of took a non-traditional path into education. Joined Teach for America, the Atlanta Corps in 2011, and I've been an educator ever since. I started out teaching at a school in Decatur, Georgia called Druid Hills in DeKalb County Schools as a special education ELA and math teacher. Before the last 9 to 10 years, I've been an administrator. I've been an assistant principal or principal the last decade.
I got to time out real quick because I just got some curiosity and my brain can't stop it. You went from public policy to teaching.
Yeah.
Okay. What made you pivot from law and policy to teaching kids?
So when I first finished up at UB, I had moved to the Atlanta region. I had took a job with a federal nonprofit called Project Arms. And I was there only 2 months. And within 2 months, they lost their federal funding. And so because I was like the last guy in, I was the first guy out, sort of thing. So then I ended up getting a job with DFACS, like Division of Family Court and Services in Fulton County in downtown Atlanta. And I was there for over a year. And my caseload was just crazy because I was dealing with domestic violence cases as an arbitrator. So it was just a little bit too much for me. and I knew that like I didn't want to do that long term. So one day, one of the children that I had a case with that I came in to do an interview with me, we had a really good conversation, and he said, "Man, I wish I had a teacher as cool as you." And that kind of like stuck. And so my mother, who's a retired educator of 33 years in Red Clay Consolidated School District in Delaware, I started talking to my mom about ways I can kind of diaspora into education. And so one of my friends actually had read a post that I had written on I think it was Facebook maybe, and they said, well, why don't you consider Teach for America? And so it just so happened, that I knew someone else that was in TFA, and I applied. And when I applied, I was accepted. I did the interview, and then, I took the certification classes to become a certified instructor, and the rest is history.
Okay. Now this is where it's fire to me, right? Because I love a good little Tarantino movie where the timelines is happening at the same time, right?
Sure.
So you going through all of this from public policy learning and going into helping the people, right? You literally are different jobs than being a public servant. You always had that vibe, but at the same time, you got bars and production is happening. You're in the music. How did your journey start into the music world?
I'm gonna be very honest and very transparent. It's a few things that really got me in the music, and it's crazy because I was talking to Blue earlier on the phone this morning. He asked me that same question. Like, I wanted to know what got you into music. So I'm gonna be honest with you. In high school, um, I was outside at Howard one day, and K-Hawk, who I think is maybe 2 or 3 grades above me, he was outside rapping, and he was fired. So I was like, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to do that. And so
Wow.
I was working at the Boys and Girls Club, Frank's Boys and Girls Club, as a lifeguard. And so I had a friend who recently passed named Will Malachi, my dog. He was freestyling. He had the instrumentals from Under the Bridge on 4th Street, started freestyling. And I saw how all the ladies was looking at him. I said, yeah, I need parts of that. So like the next week, I started rapping, freestyling, and for like a month straight, I was doing it. And then Diggs, who's one of my best friends, he was like, "What you been doing?" I'm like, "I'm rapping. I like to rap. It's cool." And he was like, "I want to do that." So how, like if you do something, your boy gonna want to do it too. So Diggs is like, "I want to do that." So then me and him, we had a guy that we used to record at his house. He was a DJ. He had like a turntable with a mic and everything. His name was Chucky. He went to high school with me, and he was a DJ. And we went to his house, and we laid our very first song, which was called "The Block." I still remember the song too because, this is like 2002 when we wrote this song. But like it's been a minute. But yeah, that's my journey, man. That's how I got started. And then as far as production, I always knew I liked production because back in the day, you remember when you used to get the tape or the CD and you would look in the booklet to see who made the beat? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what kind of got me into wanting to produce and listening to beats and stuff like that. I used to like looking through those booklets, and I really liked the game back in the '90s and early 2000s when they had dates, like when you knew an album was coming out on such and such date, and then when you grabbed it from the wall or wherever you went to go get your tape or your CD, you can look and see who was the producer and who engineered and all that. So I always studied that. Me and my boy Diggs, we always looked at who produced what. So that's what kind of got me into that.
Okay, hold on. Now I understand the theory of it, right? You start off with these bars, right? You're spitting, you're doing your thing. Then you get into a world of you got school, you got jobs, you got all this other stuff, and you kept with the bar. You kept in music. What made you keep in it after, like, once you got to high school, you got the girl, you got like you had life worked out.
Yeah. Honestly, man, like for real, like I can't take credit for everything. Like my sister, so I have an older sister named Donnie. She was like the first rapper in our household, for real, for real. And she had did a freestyle off the what's the Foxy Brown BK Anthem beat. My sister had like did a dope freestyle to that, like crazy. And I was like, I can't let my sister out rap me, Like I gotta do better, you know what I'm saying? Like that joint was hard. And it like my bars was just like at the time. So I knew I needed to step it up. So I was like, she can't be the best rapper in the crib. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna really start taking this fully seriously. And I started going to the studio. We started going to a studio back in the day on 9th and Orange Street called Soundmind Recording Studios. And this was at a time where like OT Records was the biggest thing out, right? That was Smooth, um, um, Shannon, Skinny Blanc, Pretty Thugger, Shiz Nitty, like the whole camp. And so it was so crazy because me and Diggs were the young boys that were around. And this is like the first time I ever been in like a big studio. So it was crazy because like Artie and Matty Gates and them, they would rent out the studio for like a week at a time. So we couldn't even like get time. We had to like buy time off of them. You know what I'm saying? And so when they were making that album, we was around so much that they ended up putting Diggs on a record. So like that OT album, like that big album that dropped in '02, Diggs is on there. If you look at the track list, he was like on one of the songs, and we were 16 at the time. So that was like our introduction to the studio. Then there was a situation where, and Diggs always tell this story because it's really true and it's funny. And we actually got to tell Gilly about it at the Donor Dash. So at that same studio, like a few weeks later, we went like this was like going to be like one of our first real sessions. So I had booked like 4 or 5 hours. I was working at like MBNA at the time because at Howard, you could do like a practicum and like you could work for 2 weeks and then go to school for like it was like that type of thing that we had at the school. So I was working at Bank of America. Shout out to Mr. Monroe, God bless his soul. Shout out to Mr. Bedante and Mr. Lofing for getting me that job at 15. And so, I'm working. I had a couple of hours, so we booked the session. We go there, and this is when Soviet Union was out. They got a session, but they got a feature with Gilly, and this when Major Figures is still popping, they hot. But I don't care about none of that because I had a session. So in my mind, they need to come out of the studio. It's our turn. So Diggs is trying to calm me down, and this is old p.dot when I used to be like wild and reckless. You know what I mean? Talking crazy, not thinking about what I said. Maybe I didn't get punched in the face hard enough growing up. I don't know. But I was just talking crazy. So I told them, I said, I don't care who up there. We recording now. Like, so I'm arguing with like Soviet Union cats. Shout out to them. I'm arguing with Gilly. I'm like, we about to record. So when I get up there to Donor Dash, me and Diggs brought it up to him and told him the story. And he kind of like remembered it. He was like, well, let me make this clear because you're not going to put that on my name. He said, I was there for a feature. I didn't take your session. Dumb Jokers took your session. I was just there to do the feature. So I was just saying, so that's how we got into the studio. And then the last thing I'll say, what really kept us on the straight and narrow with the music and the bars was, I'm going to give him his flowers right now. It was Judge. So in 2003, me, Judge, and Diggs dropped a project called The Triple Threat. And my cousin J Maul was managing us at the time. And so this is when me and Diggs realized like we weren't good enough yet. Because like Judge was like leaps and bounds with his pen and his flow and just like how he made songs. But we learned so much in that like 3 to 4 month stretch of how to make a song. And I feel like at that point our flow started catching up because I knew we could rap at that point. We just didn't have the flow that we needed to be great. But over time, like watching Judge every day in the studio, we really, really studied it and we fell in love with it. And here we are now, 25 years later, still doing this.
Wow. Okay. Okay. There's so much there that okay. So as you went through it and as you learned and continued to spit, continue to go, continue to do it, right? Did you ever? Was there ever a moment when you was like, I don't want to do this no more?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the real honest truth. It's really tough for me, man. Uh, September of 2006. So I have a son, an 8-year-old, who'll be 9 next month. His name is Cameron. I named Cameron after my mentor and best friend, Cameron Blaze Hamlin. who was murdered in September of 2026. I mean 2006. And that's when I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to do music anymore. I was like in a depressed, and I was in college, mind you. I was a junior at Dale State when it happened. I went to a deep, dark depression. Because Cam was really good to me and really good to Diggs. Like he would come pick us up in high school, he would get us something to eat, he would let us record for free, and he would take us home. There ain't a human there's I don't believe that there's a human that genuine. Um, and for him to lose his life the way he did, it cut me deep because I took blame for it for years. Because it was my 20th birthday. My birthday September 22nd. He ended up passing like a couple days after or a day after. I was supposed to go home to Wilmington from Dover from college to go to Atlantic City for my birthday because I had never been to Atlantic City at that time. Matter of fact, after he passed, I still never went to Atlantic City till about a year ago. First time ever going to Atlantic City because I was so hurt by that. And that's always a memory I have when I think about Atlantic City. He was taking me there for my birthday, him and a couple of my older friends. And so he just had a birthday. His birthday just passed. He would have been 43, but his birthday passed May 10th. So every May 10th, I make sure I celebrate. That's the only time I can honestly say that I didn't want to do music anymore or much of anything at that point.
So you go into this dark space, right? Now, mind you, by that time you were out of school,
Yeah, about to graduate college, undergrad. Yeah.
about to graduate college, undergrad, right? You was in your major. You was already kind of in a world where if you wanted to be done with the art, you could,
Yeah.
right? And you in a dark space, you don't feel like it no more. I'm over all of this. That's where you're at. What what made you get back to the pen, get back to the art, get back to the music?
Um, to be honest, man, two things. One, I I promised, Cam's family that I would keep his name alive to the music. That was number one. And two, um, to me, nothing is more intricate than writing a record, putting like a thought down and explaining to people. Like I look at music as a way for people to informally get to know you. So like if a person never meets P.Dot or Phillip in real life, when they hear my music, that's their way of getting to know me in a way, right? And so I want as many people as possible to know my story, but more importantly, to know the place I come from, where I derive from. Because Wilmington, Delaware has an abundance of talent that just hasn't been nurtured and fostered for whatever reason. And I think it's important that I represent Wilmington wherever I am, whatever platform I'm on, every day. It's very important to me. I've lived all over the country. Um, once I graduated high school, I was in Dover for 4 years. Then I went to Michigan for a little bit. Then I went to University of Baltimore. Then I lived in North Carolina for a brief stint. And then it was Atlanta for 6 years. And then it was Boston for 2 years. And then it was Chicago for 2 years. And then I moved back to the area in 2020 during the pandemic. Um, and moved to Philly, and now I'm in the Delaware County area with my wife, my son. So I've been all over the country, Midwest, Southeast, Northeast. Only place I haven't really lived in the country is the West Coast, and so getting those different experiences, meeting, I'm blessed, man. I know a lot of great people. I know a lot of great people that I've come in contact with, and God has really shown me that I'm blessed to be a part of so many different organizations. Like right now, shameless plug, I have on the Health Hope and Hip Hop gear. I'm a board member for Health Hope and Hip Hop. Shout out to my big brother Grand G, my mentor. That's his foundation. We recently had an event at the Queen. We had the hip hop ball, the first annual, and it was amazing. We had Slick Rick the Ruler in the building. We had my big brother Philadelphia Freeway, um, and we had Guru, young Guru in the building. So it was an amazing night, and so many more great individuals from the Delaware, Philly, and Jersey area. So like I said, I've been blessed, man. I've been fortunate enough to build relationships, but most importantly, maintain them.
Got you. Now to me, I think that that's a blessing, not just to you, but to everywhere else. Now, okay, let me ask you this. Did you, in living so many places, how many of those areas did you kind of dive into the hip hop scene or kind of get
So in
connected to it?
Atlanta, I was very connected. I worked at probably like one of the biggest industry studios in the country while I was out of Atlanta. So, and I recorded at another big studio called Hot Beats, recording studios. And I was working at Patchwork as a consultant. So, I mean, I was very into the scene. Shout out to Patchwork. They did a lot for me, you know what I mean, as an independent artist, um, and really helped my business mind. I remember as an indie artist, you're talking about it. I remember working as a consultant, right? They have a room called Studio 995. They have a Studio 9000, and they have a production room. They have another little small studio. I forget what that was called. Just so many rooms, right? It's a huge facility. And if you're ever in Atlanta, I recommend you going to Patchwork Recording Studios. It's on Hemp Hill Avenue in Midtown area, right? Near Georgia Tech, down the street from Georgia Tech, right? And one block down from the Eagles Bar, the best team in the NFL. But that's, another story for another day. But champions. But long story short, at Patchwork, they did things that made me realize just how important it is to be around the right people and to have a team. Because they had an event. I never forget this, and I tell people this story all the time. They had an event where indie artists didn't understand how accessible Patchwork was, right? They did an event where for every month for the calendar year, they would do a free workshop and they would bring industry folks. So one of the workshops was based on like synchronization, like how to get your music into video games or movies or short film or TV. And the first time they did it, bro, it was only like 7 artists there. But the reason why was because artists who were indie artists couldn't really afford to even record there. So in their
Right.
mind, they like, this gonna cost money, I can't come. So I was a part of the consultant marketing team. We had an event one night. It was like a showcase at a place in East Atlanta Village area. It was like hundreds of people there. We got the word out there like, yo, these events are free and they're for the indie artists. Before you know it, about a third month, man, we had 130 people showing up. You know what I'm saying? And taking advantage of these opportunities. And that's when I realized, like, yo, like, this is a major thing. Like, these studios, they, you know, they connect people. And when I was recording at Hot Beats, I was working with, because of a relationship I had, like Tracknologist, my big bro. We had a studio back in the day at his mom's house. We used to call it Mom's Basement over North Side. That's where we would record and record artists. And this is when he was working with Nicki, working with Nicki Minaj. And Nicki, when she wouldn't record with Track, she would always record with a guy named Scotty, Beam Me Up Scotty, Scott Harris. And when I moved to Atlanta, that's who I recorded with. And he worked at Hot Beats, right? So I'm in that studio in Studio B like every week as an indie artist. And while I'm in there, I'm running into everybody. I got a YouTube clip from like 2012. It's like me and Sci-Hi the Prince, like in the studio, just chopping it up. You know what I mean? And it was crazy because I met him at the strip club, and I told him I was going to Hot Beats the next day. I was with my brother Bug. He was like, bro, go talk to him. Tell him what you're doing. I told him I was going to Hot Beats. No lie. He came the next day, like at my session, pulled up, didn't know me from nowhere, and we chopped it up in the stew for like 20 minutes. I met Scooter, God bless his soul. I met him in there, shot dice with him at Hot Beats and everything, like, and chopped it up with him regularly because he was always in there. You know what I'm saying? Doing music, so like you never knew who you were going to meet, and that's like the beauty of that. And that's what I'm trying to develop here, like a culture, cultivate a culture where we can be the resource and utilize all our resources together to connect people with the people who can actually help them get to where they want to go.
Okay. You was out there. I'll be in Colombia. Listen, don't get me started. All right, now, but that's fire though. I think that's necessary to kind of try to connect artists, and that's why I work with Delaware Music Network, and I'm around. Part of the reason why I do this show is
Right.
just to. I think that people don't always know either what's happening or how to make things happen. So if I can get the keys from the gatekeepers or talk change with the change makers, get some taste with the flavor, we all win. So in case you don't know, you're watching Hats Off with your boy G Dash Jones. Now, right? And I think that you telling me that leads me to my next question. For you, it's you worked closely with a lot of different
Right.
artists, right? Throughout the time. So like you build your kaleidoscope of artists. Again, there was times when you was over it and you kept going. You traveled around the country and kept going. What made you always connect to different artists and always be open to different styles? A lot of times people be like, oh, I don't want, they're gonna try to steal my style, or I don't even feel like fooling with people like that. You know how it is with artists. We don't, I mean,
No, I get it. I just never been that way, man. I'm not wired that way. I feel like collaboration is such a gift to the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could you not want to work with someone? Everybody has like bucket list features, I'm sure, right? Like my favorite rapper of all time is Nas. Like the day I do a feature with Nas, I don't need to do nothing else. Like I'm satisfied for life, right? Um, Even like recently, like doing this, like Freeway, doing my song with Freeway, my video with Freeway, like, and we have new records coming by the way that are even crazier. But even like when we did the Gift of Life and made that like such a big record and a campaign record, and we ended up getting the number that we were looking for new registered donors. We got over 50,000 by the donor dash date, which was April 27th of this year that just passed. So that record did a lot, and putting like an artist like Bluesky on there, to give it that feel that it needed, right? Because it's a very emotional record. It's him and I telling our stories about kidney failure, something that's sacred to both of us. And with him being a donor dad and receiving a donor, his verse is really deep if you really understand the story. And then me telling my story about I'm in the present with it right now. I've had 23 surgeries on my arm alone, where my access is for dialysis. I have a loop graft. And so, this arm that I have right here, um, as you can see, I've been going through it, and I'm about to have another surgery at the end of this month to fix it again because I have some blockages and some clotting. So it's like, you know, collaboration, man, is what really makes music so like so divine to me, man. Like you can't get a better feeling. Like I love working with people, and when I came back to Delaware, I said to myself, I'm gonna work with all the artists that I never worked with before I went to college, right? Because I kind of left at the time where Delaware rap and music was kind of elevating some, right? I had already went away to school, and so when I had to come back, I had to kind of learn who was who. And there were plenty of artists I knew that I had never worked with that I got a chance to work with that I was ecstatic about. Like I got to work with 36 Lad, who's one of my favorite artists. Me and Diggs were able to reconnect and build this brand, which was amazing. And me and him have a whole movie, a whole story about our lives that we could tell. I got to, work with Ampadant, who is somebody that you know, I rock with. I was a fan of MG Mizzy, who's now a part of VBS. Like I was telling Diggs, like, yo, I want to work with him. Yo, I love what he's got going on. I love his sound. And it was crazy to me because it was like Mizzy Gang, but it was just like one person. You know what I mean? So I just like loved that, and I was enthused about that. And when we got to work, it clicked immediately, right? Like instantaneous. Same thing with Jade. I knew Jade from high school. I knew Jade from around the way, but we had never worked together, right? And we got a chance to, right? And then she joined the team. She let me help her with her album, and like I said, the rest is history. So now I find myself collaborating more because I'm at that point in my career where after this 25th album that drops in June, I'm thinking about more like EPs and group projects. Like we do have a VBS group collab coming, and me and Diggs are dropping 2 solo albums on the same day, like a Outcast, like a Andre and a Big Boy, like a Speaker Box and a Love Below. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's going on. And then lastly, like I'm doing an EP, shameless plug, with my brother Briz Rothstein, right? Who I feel like has two of the most incredible bodies of work out right now. Like he dropped a project about a month ago called Adam, A Diamond Amongst Men, incredible. And this past Friday, he dropped a 5-track or 6-track EP called 5 Carats. And it's an incredible body of work. And like I said, Delaware got a lot of talent, like from the raw spitters to hit makers. Like I love my nephew, like Hero. I feel like he's super creative, and he's one of them like nephews that don't ask me for nothing. That's what I love too about him. Like I have other nephews like that really ask and need stuff. He never asks for anything, and I appreciate that, and I love what him and his boy Dev are doing. So I keep my eye on everything, man. I don't have any hate in my system. I want everybody to win. I have that kind of energy and spirit.
Okay, now a couple things. Hey, and I'm gonna say it here. I done said it. I done said it to him, so I'm gonna say it. I've said it to you before. I definitely will say it to him every time. Briz, when you watch this, drop the album. Excuse me, get on the stage and perform the album. I want to see you live performing the album. I'm done. That's it. Just throwing it
There's
out
nothing
there.
wrong with that.
But
We agree.
yeah, listen.
We agree.
Somebody gotta say it out
I,
loud. Gotta say it out
listen,
loud.
listen. We had this talk all the time, so that's nothing new.
Now, okay. Now you said so much about kind of being able to build and collab. I would be wrong if I didn't ask you this question,
Okay.
right? Hip hop has a way that is naturally competitive, right? Some of your VBS members be competing.
Oh
They
yeah,
get in there.
yeah.
They be. How do you feel about the competition in hip hop, even on this local level?
I think competition is great. I mean, I do. Like, I mean, everyone should want to see where their skill is. Your skill level. Um, I've had people tell me in recent years, like they feel like I came out of nowhere, but I've been around for so long. Like, I feel like I got so much music, and it's been out there forever. And then I had somebody tell me, "Yo, I feel like you the most underrated artist around here." I don't feel that way because I naturally feel like I'm one of the best to do it from here ever. Like on a lyrical level, on a song level, on a creative level, right? So, but I've had people tell me that, and you know that's great that they feel that way. But I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm rated where I should be, um, and I feel like this run that we've been on in recent months has really solidified that, right? And we've been really taking care of things on a business level that has created these outlets for us and given us these opportunities. Like 2024 was like the biggest year of my music career. Having a campaign record with The Gift of Life, having a documentary with The Gift of Life with my wife, being on ABC twice, um, performing all over the country, dropping 4 albums within my label between Jay, Diggs, Mizzy, and me. And now, as we kind of shift into 2025, Blueski to me dropping the best R&B project of the year, and Out of the Blue, and etc. Psy or now Volt, who we've just brought on board, dropping his EP, which is called No More Drill, as he kind of tries to find a new sound, right? And so I feel like we've done great. And then the features I've gotten, being able to work with Free, being able to work with Son of 215, being able to work with Schoolito, being able to work with Ricky Hyde from Griselda and BSF, like having all those folks like on songs, and then just the great producers and engineers I work with, like from Lovely Lay to um, you know, Rick Roman, so it's like so many Caesar, and then having a friend and a frat brother like Chris at RAMG Studios, who is someone that's really for the who's progressive. You know what I'm saying?
So, okay,
That,
right. I think the beauty of your network and the beauty of your work ethic shows through all of the gems and rewards. But, not a but, I will ask, if you was tapped, let's say Diggs was like, yo, get on this record, the battle record, the yacht, would you throw your hat in the ring?
oh, I came from that. I came from the battle culture, yeah. But right now I don't be thinking about that. I really be focused on a couple of things. One, like living. You know what I mean? Like that's the number one thing. Because there were a couple folks who got on records and talked about my health, right? And to me, that's like crossing boundaries. But I I don't care. Like you know what I mean? Like Karma will GPS them where they at. You know, um, and you
Facts.
know, like I said on a record that I have upcoming, you know, um, you ever had needles in your arm? Your creatinine levels high. You clotting every month, praying that you don't die. These is real things that I experience on a day to day basis. You understand? Like when your arm is when your graph is clotting, you know what I'm saying? And you in and out of the hospital, like your creatinine levels high, and your graph clotting every month, and you praying you don't die. Half a decade on dialysis just to stay alive until then. Keep it wrapped before I send someone to slide. Like that's just like, you know what I mean, how I really feel. Because it's like, um, this is a real condition that I have no control over. And for 4 years and 8 months, I've been on this. You know what I mean? Like I've been living this. So that's the first thing I'm focused on, being alive so I can be here for my son, my wife, and my team. And then secondly, um, I don't care because I have too much positive going on, and me and my team shining shouldn't dim your light. And I feel like what's happened here in Delaware in recent months is VBS has become the disruptors. It's no more of that regularly scheduled program stuff in Delaware that's been going on for years, where the same people get the look, right? We came through and created our own look, and that's become disruptive to the status quo. So that's why these things happen and people say these things and do these things for whatever reason.
Is it is as you called it the disruptor? Is that important? Is that intentional for you?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's intentional because to me, Delaware music lacks culture, right? In my opinion. And when I say that, I profoundly mean it. And what I mean by lacks culture, I mean a culture that's cultivated in the experience. Like I said, when I first started rapping, I would watch K Hop. I would watch him perform. A lot of artists here don't know how to rock a show. You understand what I'm saying? Like I would literally study that man. I would study Judge. I would look at the OTs and how they was making records and how they was in the studio and how fixated they were on making good music, right? I want to restore that feeling again. And I want it to be a situation where it can be competitive, but we can all work together as one conglomerate. You can be with your team over here. I can be with my team over here. You can be killing it on this scene. I can be killing it on that scene. And when you got something going on, we gonna salute that, right? When I got something going on, you gonna salute that. Listen, VBS Fest. Everybody, if you ain't got nothing going on June 6th, you should be coming out to that. Like you should be coming out to that. You're getting this. This is what you're getting with VBS Fest. You're getting open bar all night, so you can leave hammered if you want. That's your choice. Just call an Uber because if you're dying, it ain't on me. Um, so you get open bar all night. You get three people being honored who paved the way for so many in Delaware in Grand G, Rennie Rocks, and Track Knowledges. From 2004 to about 2012, if you didn't have a Rennie Rocks video, you was nobody. From 2004 to 2012, if you wasn't recording at Track Studio, we didn't know you. from the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s to the early 2000s, if you didn't know who Grand G was, if you didn't know about Riverside Bucket 26, which was the first record in Delaware history to ever chart, you understand what I'm saying? And that man was the architect of that project with Project X. Like, these are the people that we have to honor. You understand? And then lastly, lastly, you get 8 of the best artists in the city and state of Delaware. You getting Brewski, so you getting country soul. You get Diggs, who's one of the most versatile artists I've ever seen. You get Mizzy, who is just rapid fire flow amazing through the roof. You get Phoenix Jade, the I call her the Styles P of female rap. You know what I'm saying? Hard, just hard. You get Asia Mills, who a bar spitter but can make great hit records. You understand what I'm saying? You get ETC Psy or Volt, who's up and coming and new and exciting, right? You get Nabri, who I'm really excited about because she's one of my newer artists. She's in college, but she's a singer and she's great. She's gonna give you like them SZA vibes, right? And then you get like the OG, you get K-Hop, right? Like somebody that's been rocking the shows and doing the most forever, and somebody that I look up to. So you get all that plus a catered meal, right? So everyone should want to pull up. Everyone should want to pull up to that event because it's something culturally, it's a curated experience for the people here. When people say stuff like, we don't have things like that, okay, now we do. So it's put up or shut up. Are you going to pull up or are you going to stay home? It's as simple as that. And we're almost sold out. We're almost sold out. And this isn't one of them events where you pulling up and paying at the door. It won't be one of those type of functions. This is, you either have a physical ticket or you have the Eventbrite and you can, get scanned in when you come in by security. And so, my mom gonna be in the building. Like it's gonna be a big night. And we want people to come out. And it's like I said, it's almost sold out. So, we love to have as many people who haven't, if you haven't bought your ticket yet, the link is in my bio. You're more than welcome to click on that link and thank me later after you see one of the shows of the year.
Talk heavy. All right, look, I had to let you get that off. You was in the zone with that. But I do have a question, right? You broke down all those on the stage. Shouts out to, listen again, shameless plug for me. Go back, it's on YouTube. Me and Grand G had an amazing conversation about how Bucket 26 came about, how Project X came about, the whole history of it, and the Hip Hop Health Foundation as well. So shouts out to that. I've been blessed to, host the stages with me and Blueski, you know what I mean, since his first album. Shouts out to him. K-Hot came out in a bathrobe, rocked the stage, shut the stage down. Shouts out to him. A couple of the artists that you mentioned. Shouts out to Phoenix Jade as well. Now, this VBS thing that you put together, what was it like to build it? What was the process of getting all these artists together on this label, and how did you decide who, what, like, how did this thing come together?
Yeah, so when I moved back to the area, I always said to myself, like, if I got the opportunity to build a label, I would. You know what I'm saying? And the first person I obviously talked to this about was Diggs because, our history and how long we've been friends. We've been friends since sixth grade at the bus stop. You know what I'm saying? Like we would go to Smitty's and get the penny candy and steal the penny candy and get caught. You know what I mean? And so and we be walking to Lafayette and Kikez together. So we known each other that long since '98. And I went and talked to him and said, bro, I wanna build a label, but I don't want it to be like a quintessential rap label. I want it to be a label based on curated experiences, based on merchandise, based on, projects that aren't always just on all platforms, but creating our own platform to get people to purchase it outside of those platforms, right? And so he was like, bro, I feel you. I trust your vision. Let's go for it. And so obviously we didn't go look for artists right away, right? Like that's not how it happened. It kind of gradually happened. And so he, at that time, he had been doing music for a long time, but only really had one project at the time. And he was going through some health issues, and obviously I've been going through my own health issues. We came together, and the first thing we did was we recorded The Son of Curtis, because Diggs is a big 50 Cent fan. So we did that project. Then we did a group project. Then I dropped a couple projects. And then as that was happening, um, Diggs was telling me that, Jade was trying to get back into the music flow because she had kind of took a little hiatus for a little while. And I said, okay, well, tell her to come to the studio or whatever, and see what's going on. And she had did a song, and it was called The One. It's on her album right now called Resilient. It's on all platforms right now. And I'm like, damn, this John sound great. All right. I said, let's see what else you got. Did a couple other records. I said, okay, let's try to build with something. And then I basically wanted to do a feature with Mizzy. I was like, yo, I want Mizzy on this song I got called Stop Talking to Me. And at the time, I didn't know I was going to name my album Stop Talking to Me. That was just like the first song I had. And shout out to Draco Beats out of Philly, who produced that record. And I'm like, yo, this the record I want Mizzy on. And Diggs was like, yo, I'm going to reach out to him. All right. We invite him to the studio. He do a song with me. Then he do a song with Diggs called The Matrix. Same session, which was their block work performance that they did. And I'm like, okay. And literally, like, we did the we did the we did the record. They did the block work, and then the next month we went to Atlanta and shot the video to Stop Talking to Me, me and Mizzy. And after we shot the video, we had a ball. He was like, bro, I think we should just work together. I was like, that sounds good to me, bro. Let's work. And so that's how Mizzy came about. So really, for like the first year and a half of this, it's really been, well, the first year and a half was just me and Diggs kind of building things. And then we brought on Jade and Mizzy. And then what ended up occurring was, I want to say around October of 24, like, I was cool with Brewski already because he had been on two of my projects, including being on the song Gift of Life with me and Free. And so he kind of like just reached out to me one day randomly and was like, yo, I need a manager, bro. You think you would be willing to manage me? I'm like, I mean, let's see. Let's give it a trial run. Like, what do you need from me? He kind of told me his vision. I said, all right, we can go ahead and do that. And, you know, he decided to be a part of VBS. After several months of just managing him, he said, I think I just want to be a part of the team. And so, we were able to get him. And then Psy is Blue's cousin. And I've been hearing some of his tunes. Shout out to Paulie Reviews, because Paulie Reviews play everybody. You know what I'm saying? So when I seen that, I'm like, I like him. And Diggs took a liking to him. And then when we found out who his father was, it was just natural sense that he had to be on the team. And then lastly, Bree was the last artist we brought on. And again, her uncle is Chuck 50, who I had worked with previously on several songs. And he was like, "Yeah, man, this is my niece. She was on my album. She was on a song on my album. I did a remake to the Summer Rain, the Carl Thomas joint, with me, Diggs, Badan, and the Bree. She cooked it, and then she did a few songs. Like she came back to the studio and did a couple songs, and shocked me. Like I was like, okay, yeah, I like her, and so that's where we are with the team. So we really are focused on, like I said, cultivating experiences, bro. That's why VBS Fest is so pertinent to us. That's why you've seen it every day being promoted by everybody, because we know how important this moment is for Delaware.
Is it ever? Is it a lot? I guess managing so many different personalities and styles
Yeah, it
in
is.
one group.
It is. But one thing about me, bro, is I'm very like one, I'm very transparent, and two, I have like an even kill temperament when it comes to business. So like my team will tell you, like, I don't tolerate like foolishness. It's just like we make a plan, we stick to the plan and we execute it and we see it through. And if it's unsuccessful, then we pivot, right? Or we deviate. But we like make a plan. We write things down. We go to the board. We think about what it's going to cost. What's the opportunity cost? We do a whole SWOT analysis. You know, what are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are the opportunities? What are the threats? Like, what do we need to do to make this as successful as possible for all of us? How does it benefit everybody here, right? And I always preach team, you know, because it's really about the team. It's never about me. My team will tell you I've put them way in front of me on numerous occasions, even when I know that I have these opportunities in front of me, because because it's important to me that everybody is clicking on all cylinders and not just myself.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Um, what do you say to people who feel like, well, there's no money in music? Like, what makes you kind of stick to it when you know that gets thin, at least the perception of it is?
Well, I mean, it's not totally false. I mean, there's not a lot of money in music, but the way you profit off of the music you make is by getting yourself in positions, right? Putting yourself in rooms that you typically wouldn't be in. And music can do that, right? Your music can do that. Like, prime example. Again, I made a song called Gift of Life. The organization reached out to me. They made me and my wife global ambassadors. They did a documentary about us. There was a exchange of fees and funds and that were accumulated, right? When I do my speaking engagements, right? There are things that I profit from, right? Financially. So doing an interview on ABC, and I just did one at Fox for Fox 29 during Donor Dash. Like, these are opportunities that create larger opportunities. It's just like one step sets up the next step, and I've been learning that over the last few years, right? Um, like, I went to a workshop at Quad Studios in New York about a year ago, and one of the engineers said, "Yo, put your full-length video on Instagram, not just YouTube, because YouTube, you got to try to get sponsorships, you got to try to do so much to get views, and you might have a dope video that been out for a year and only got like 1,000 views or 800 views, right? But if you go to IG, because it's such a microwavable system, the moment you put something out, it's gonna accumulate views, right? Like like we literally just did a takeover files for Diggs, and it dropped last week, and in like 6 days, we're at like 25,000 views, right? um, on Instagram, right? Now, if we drop that same post on YouTube, how many views will we have? Without buying views or without like buying a merchant sponsor or something like that. So there is a way to make money and capitalize off of music, but the main way is to set up the next move from the music. Allow the music to put you in a position to be in a room, and then being able to code switch once you enter that room, right? I think those are the ways that we can financially gain musically. And then obviously having good product, right? You got to have a product that people want to buy. And merchandise is everything. Like, for instance, like, we got this hat on, we got this shirt on, so people see that. That's a walking billboard. The picture I sent you, that you use for the cover or like the promo flyer, the back of that has the QR code that if anyone wants to be a living donor to me, they can we had over 900 people at Donor Dash click that, right, and leave comments and want to know more about my story. Walking billboard. So and then I have people order the hoodie from my wife, who's going to be shipping them soon. Like, we didn't go there planning to sell shirts, sell hoodies, but like, people were like, "Yo, we want to buy that." So we can walk around the grocery store and people see it and scan it and say, "Who's that?" And I can say, "Yo, that's my cousin," or "Yo, that's my brother," or "Yo, that's my homeboy," or "Yo, that's my coworker," right? Or "Yo, that's my homie that go to church with me," or whatever, right? So those are the ways you can create those opportunities for yourself, I feel.
Uh, didn't do this today yet, but I have to now because this is very important. By the way, you in the back watching this, listen, look around. A lot of gems was dropped. A lot of gems. That one, that's one. That's one of them ones. Because a lot of people, you might miss it. You might miss what you can do with this music stuff, what you can do with your art. right? But it's setting up the next move. So I want to highlight that because that's one of the things that people don't always connect to as much as they should. Again, you are watching Hats Off with your boy G Dash Jones. I got a few more questions, but I am curious. Your health, you being vulnerable about it in the music, right? The Gift of Life,
Mm-hmm.
Hip Hop Health Foundation, all the things. Is it a conscious decision to be so vulnerable about your health in the music? Because like a lot of people, especially in hip hop is the place where I feel like men run away from vulnerability in hip hop, right?
Yeah.
And you said, I'm running for it.
Yeah.
Okay?
So I'm gonna be honest. At first, I didn't think about doing any music about it. Um, I was so upset when it happened. When I found out, a lot of people don't know this, but I mean, if you hear me talk and speak, you know the story. It's like I got diagnosed on my 34th birthday 4 years ago, bro. Like 9/22/20 is when I went to the hospital and found out that I was having a stroke at 34 years old because my blood pressure was 287 over 92 from a hypertension headache. All these years, I had been having headaches, but the male bravado in me wouldn't get checked out, wouldn't do the right things, put some tussin on it, tough it out, take some Tylenol, aspirin, whatever, and move on, but not getting blood work when I would go to get physicals, right? And not taking these things serious. I found out from a biopsy that I've been on dialysis 4 years and 8 months, but my kidneys failed 2 years prior. I lived with kidney failure for 2 years and somehow lived to talk about it. I had an acute kidney injury while I was living in Chicago from 2018 to 2020 and didn't know because I wasn't getting blood work. It just so happened that my right kidney was overcompensating for the left kidney that was already at failure. And that's what kept me alive. It was doing all the work of, so one kidney was doing the work of two until it could no longer do the work, which is what ended me up in the hospital. And when I went through the triage, now mind you, this is the height of the pandemic. This is September of 2020. I go into the hospital, the triage nurse say, "Uh-oh." I ain't the smartest man, but a nurse saying "uh-oh" ain't good usually. So when she said we got to get him to ICU immediately, he's having a stroke. I'm like, "What you mean?" And so I decided, like I say in the Gift of Life, I cried the first 30 days. I had the why me phase. But then eventually I talked to my wife, who was my then girlfriend, and I said that I'm not going to allow this to get the better of me. I'm going to share as much wisdom, but first I'm going to learn as much as I can about renal health, about end-stage renal disease, about chronic kidney disease. A lot of people don't understand that, yes, I have end-stage renal failure, but I have chronic kidney disease. Some people just have kidney failure, right? Which is what I also have, which is end-stage renal disease. But I also have chronic kidney disease, CKD. So that's not going away, even after transplant. That's what people don't process and understand. So this journey is bigger than just like getting a transplant, right? It's about like your mental prowess as well, because it takes a lot to go to work Monday through Friday for 10 hours working with students, and then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. with two 16 to 17-inch needles piercing your flesh for 4 hours, draining life out of you, and then driving home, and, and that's your week. So you're damn right I got to put it in the music because I have to let people know this thing is really killing us. When you go into a dialysis clinic, you see us. That's who's there. And then there are people that I meet who their entire lives centers around this disease. They don't work, so they just literally go to dialysis, go home, sleep, eat, repeat the cycle. To me, that's not living. That's existing. And I told myself that I was no longer going to exist with kidney failure. I'm going to live with it, right? And that's where I'm at. So that's why I put it in the music. That's why I created the Gift of Life as a song. And it's crazy. I manifested the Gift of Life. I literally told my wife, I'm gonna get Philadelphia Freeway on this song. I told Diggs, I'm gonna get Philadelphia Freeway on this song. They'll both tell you that this is really something I said. I really manifested it. I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but it happened, right? And so that's the power of manifestation. That's God's work, right? And I know, like, I have to talk about this in my music because I don't want my worst enemy to experience dialysis. Dialysis is when you think about the things that you lose from being on dialysis, because like I told you, it's 4 to 8, 3 times a week. That's 12 hours in a week. That's a part-time job. That's time I'm missing with my son. That's time I'm missing with my wife. That's time I'm missing with my label. That's time I'm missing with my family. That's time I'm missing with friends. That's time that I don't have to do the things. That time I could be doing work on the house. I don't get that time because the next day I got to spend recovering from treatment.
Mhm. Well, I think that I'm glad that you put it in your music. And I think that it's important that you are able to express it the way that you do and allow people to know the realism of it so that, people can be better as people. We can do better at healing ourselves and getting checked out and handling ourselves the way we're supposed to.
Yeah, that's
Now,
important. That's one thing I want to say really quickly. Like, as black men, we have to take care of our health. We're getting up in that age bracket. Like, once you start hitting like 28, 32s and all that, and above, and you start getting closer to 40, um, routine checkups with blood work, making sure that you're checking your Apollo 1 gene, because that's the gene that black people possess that leads to kidney failure, right? Um, being checked for high blood pressure and hypertension, high cholesterol, you know, diabetes, sickle cell, lupus. All these things are things that impact our community, and then also like mental health, not being afraid to sit with someone and express like things that are going on in your life and things that are going on in your head. Um, though we have to take care of ourselves, we have to do a better job of taking care of ourselves.
absolutely. Um, and thank you for that. Thank you for such a dope
Yep.
interview in general. I like to ask all my guests this. I'm very curious what you'll say. I like to ask the question of if you could give advice to a younger version of yourself, but the year is still 2025, right? So it's a young P dot
Mm-hmm.
running around,
Mm-hmm.
but again, the year is 2025 and all this 2025 stuff that's happened. What advice would you give to a younger you?
I would tell a young me to allow my priorities to reveal my actions. That's what I would tell a younger me. Like, if something is truly a priority to me, then my actions should really depict it. And whatever I covet, I should seek. And whatever I seek, I should go accomplish. I didn't always have like role models, but when I got into high school, I had great mentors. And then, I was able to join a fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Um, and just the brotherhoods and bonds that I built, I would tell my younger self to like take advantage of every opportunity you get. And I had a teacher, Stan Hill, at Howard High, who I feel like saved my life. He bought me my first suit when I got my job at MBNA. He told me, he said, "You see how you be hanging out on the corner, and I rode by and I seen you on the corner?" He said, "That's not you." He said, "You're different. You're gonna go to college, and a lot of them people you were hanging out with on the corner, they not gonna be there." He didn't lie, man. He was spot on. I don't know what he saw in me. I don't. But I know he knew enough to know that he felt like I was college bound. And to me, college was a foreign concept in high school because I didn't know nobody that went to college, like no men, you know. And so I'm first generation college grad, first generation person with an with a graduate degree or degrees, shall I say, in my household. And now I have nephews coming up. I have a nephew who's about to graduate from Wilmington Charter in a few weeks and go to University of Maryland at College Park. So I'm a proud uncle. I have another nephew who's in school an undergrad in North Carolina right now. So it's like seeing them come under me means like I set such a high bar and a solid foundation. So that's what I'll be telling my younger self, man. Just allow your priorities to reveal your actions. Um, and whatever you covet, seek, and whatever you seek, go out and accomplish.
Yes, yes, yes. Listen, that's fire. Uh, real quick. So, well, who wound up with a better verse? You or your sister?
Oh, man. I mean, my sister had the better verse. Yeah, she had the better verse.
Shout out to you. What's your sister's name? Shout her out real quick. She deserved that.
Yeah, my sister's name is Danielle. Her IG name is like Danny Heart Baker. She like bakes beautiful breads and stuff like that. But like, yeah, she cooked me on the on the BK Anthem beat. So I'm at that point in my life now where I want to get that beat a second go. You know.
He said I done worked on my pen. She's still not the best rapper in the family.
Yeah,
She beat me that day.
Yeah.
She had a hot day, you know what I'm saying? But the bloodline.
Yeah, I gotta get my lick back one way or another. So
Oh, I'm with it. All right, man. Listen, again, this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your story and everything that they can expect with VBS Fest. Now, I tell people, as you may know, if you give me a word, I give you a poem. But while you think of the word, I like to do what I call a quick hat tip. Blip, blip. I said a quick hat tip. Blip, blip. Where I show some love and give some credit to some people who did some fly things or some cool entities around. So, first and foremost, I said a quick hat tip. Blip, blip. I said a quick hat tip. Blip, blip. I want to give a hat tip to Sunday Blue. If y'all don't know DJ Sunday Blue, listen, he got an event coming up. He be doing he be doing the Sunday vibes. Go check out Sunday Blue. He also puts out beat packs and puts out music. He like for free. He gives DJ music for free. I want to say like every Sunday or something. That's just off the muscle. He got his app coming out. Listen, I'm just proud of everything that he doing over there. You know Sunday Blue?
I don't know him personally, but I'm definitely familiar with what he got going on, and I love it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So listen, got to get y'all connected because he's into that situation, that texture as well that you was talking about. Also, a quick hat tip. Blip, blip. Quick hat tip. Sarah Crawford, aka Miss Blondie Mansion herself. Oh, she had art after dark at the Delaware Contemporary. What? Yes. Wednesday, it was art after dark at the Del Contemporary. Mac Wando on the ones and twos. They had some vendors. It was a whole vibe. Listen again. I don't know if you've been to the Del Contemporary, but brother, the way that they was rocking on that Wednesday. Listen, next time I don't know next time they're gonna do it, but check out Blondie Mansion because she be doing some things, brother. Doing some things. All right, hat tip. Blip, blip, quick hat tip. Blip, blip. Art battle. Okay. Art battle at the Opulent. Shouts out to Kim Lewis, Arts by Angelova. Listen, it was an art contest, brother. I don't know if you ever seen it was literally, they had 12 different painters. It was 6 at a time, just paint, 20 minutes to paint. Bang, 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 bang. Right? It was an energy. It was like a rap battle, but paint. Right. Okay, right. Listen, it was an amazing energy. Shouts out to the winner Amy Nitchman for holding it down. I was there. I did some spoken word to the art in that room, so that was a blessing for me. Quick hat tip to them. Also hat tip, blip blip hat tip, blip blip. So the UAE is back open. They back doing their Wednesday night situation. Shouts out to the Tina Best. They had a whole naming ceremony. Tish, Jonathan, Whitney, Odell, City Fest, and the city of Wilmington. If you ain't been to listen, it's dope to do. They have like a whole jazz setup that they do almost every Wednesday at the UAE. So hat tip to them for having like the naming ceremony. Oath 84 had the grub. It was a dope affair.
Get there. I keep hearing great things about Oath.
Yes. Yo, listen, I can tell you, I can vouch. The grub is the grub. Okay, the grub.
Street on, right?
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah, listen. So hat tip to everybody involved with that urban arts exchange situation. Also, quick hat tip. Blip blip. Delaware Music Network open mic jam session. I was hosting it last Wednesday at the Wilmington Library. we do it every first Wednesday of the month. It was a vibe. Jay came through, saw the vibes. We was cooking. It ended up with us just doing a cipher. It was lit. I don't know what to tell you. Shouts out to DJ Nick Nax and Ronan Ali, who's the normal host. He asked me to fill in, so we was on fire that night. I also got a hat tip to Women to the Lions, blip blip, and Nemours, because I thoughtful expression, poetry, and spoken word. A public speaking workshop that I'm doing every Monday. Listen, so if y'all know anybody interested in getting their public speaking up, anybody 13 and older, or interested in poetry, I'm doing a whole situation at the Artomat every week. Also, last but not least, well, pretty much last but not least, hat tip, blip, blip, Ivan and Freeway. Right, I got you on here. Got to talk about the Ivan and Freeway got a show coming.
Yes, sir.
Say what?
Yes,
Freeway got a show coming.
yes, sir.
So I got to give a hat tip to him and Ivan for helping kind of make that happen, as well as my man Grand G and the hip hop, the Health and Hip Hop Foundation. You see the shirt. That's why I got to mention it. You know it. Listen, we on the vibe.
The boss is over in Dubai right now at the World Health Conference right now. He was speaking. He'll be home this week. So yeah, man. And shout outs definitely to my big brother Free, man. I'm excited about feeling healthier with Freeway being on Delaware TV. I think that's huge for the city. And, obviously I know his story, but I know what he can do. And I know the power he has and the voice he has and how many people he can bring together to be more cognizant about these health issues that can arise out here.
Absolutely. And last but not least, a hat tip to you for being a dope guest. You done stayed here and gave us like your story, the story of the VBS, the story of you as an educator. We got y'all like, listen, this need to go in the documentary. We got it in. Like it was a whole moment. So I appreciate you so much for coming on and being a great guest. Anybody you want to give a quick hat tip to?
Just a quick hat tip to the what you do, bloop bloop. Is that how you do it?
Yeah.
Got it right. Just really a quick one to the entire VBS Music Group, the entire staff at RAMG, all the guests that will be in attendance, and then major shout out to you. I appreciate you for reaching out to me. A lot of people don't know that you and I share an affinity for someone named Theodore Mayo, who, was one of my best friends in life. And everywhere I go, I represent him, and I want to always make sure that he's somewhere near and dear and close to me. And so, you having me on here, I know he's happy. He's looking down and he's happy about this. So I appreciate you for having me, man. And like I said, I know Theo is proud of this tonight.
Absolutely. Hat tip to Theo Mayo. Hat tip to Goodfella Merck. You know it. Yeah, I'm saying, like, they don't even know, man. So I appreciate that for real. Now, I told you, if you give me a word, I give you a poem. You got a word for me, good brother?
A word for you, man. The word is humility.
Humility. Okay. I'm thinking, if God gonna give me something, why he gotta give me humility? Like, it's not that I don't want to be humble. It's about the ways that we have to maneuver through this jungle that took the time to humble me. I don't think you understand the things that I see, the way that I see. Maybe it's what made me be what I'm supposed to be, but I just wasn't ready. If he gave me anything, how did he give me humility? Was it by telling me that it's not just about me moving around for self? And if I lose those that are close to me, then I have to put on for them in front of everyone else. I got to make sure that I can pour out of me so that we can all receive a different type of wealth. I can make sure that we can all exceed our dreams as long as we all also continuously focus on our health. If he had to give me humility, where was it supposed to be? Like, where was I supposed to find the place that I could move properly without feeling like the world was always watching me and jotting ways that I wasn't moving the way and doing the things that they wanted to see? I'm just trying to be me, the best version that is. That means that I have to be able to travel around the country and still be the person that you see this is, pouring into everyone in ways of which that they know this is the best that they can get, not questioning who it is that's helping me be this. Because, well, people get indoctrinated by lack of collaboration, so they don't realize what they're facing, and now they're an individual going against the nation, and their ego is taking over, and their humility starts to be erased. Then I get it. That's why if he had to deliver anything to me, he chose it to be humility, because that's the only way that I could open my arms and extend so we can all come together to eat. This is not just a meet and greet. This is how we can all seek to speak at the mountain peak. Most of the time people think that going up that high is such a different type of reach, and this is when they get lost in the stress, but they don't realize that you can be blessed if you come together, you reward each other, like those will be at the VBS Fest. Oh.
Dope, bro.
Thank you. Just a little word salad. I just put a little word salad.
I like that. I like that. Well, listen, brother, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me. Again, June 6th, VBS Fest, Brand Studios, 920 North Church Street, Wilmington, Delaware, the greatest city in the greatest state. Please come out. We have tickets still on sale, available. The link is in my bio. They're actually 50% off now, so they're about $25 now. So you get a catered meal, you get the
whole squad. You get 3 rewards. You get an open bar. It's a whole
the whole situation. Like, come out to a curated experience in your own backyard. I love to see everybody out.
That's a fact. Again, thanks for joining the show. This has been an episode of Hats Off. Next week, I will see y'all back. I may not be here next week, but I'm going to be converting different episodes online every week because I have a graduation for launchers. So shouts out to them. I might go live during the graduation, but shouts out to all the entrepreneurs graduating next week. Y'all see them online. Again, shouts out to my man p.dot for joining the show. As I like to tell y'all, love yourself first and everything else will fall into place. This has been Hats Off with your boy G-Jones.
Oh, bro.
You gotta hold on.